A Michigan mother has been arrested and charged with involuntary homicide after her 4-year-old son died from seizures. Seizures that prosecutors say could have been prevented if she had simply given him the medication doctors had prescribed. Curtis Washington was 4 years old, and tonight his mother is facing the consequences of what authorities are calling a grossly negligent failure to provide necessary medical care. Here is everything we know. Curtis Washington was 4 years old, a little boy living at the French Quarter Apartments in Southfield, Michigan. He was entirely dependent on the adults around him for his safety, his care, and his life. On January 25, 2025, that life came to an end. Curtis died at his home, and what followed was a more than year-long investigation that has now resulted in his mother's arrest. In the days before his death, Curtis had been hospitalized after suffering multiple seizures. Doctors worked to stabilize his condition, and they succeeded. Before discharging him, they prescribed medication specifically designed to prevent further seizures from occurring. The message from medical staff was clear: Curtis needed this medication. Without it, he was at serious risk. What happened next is at the heart of this entire case. According to authorities, Latoya Washington, Curtis's 37-year-old mother, took her son home from hospital against medical advice. Doctors had not cleared Curtis for discharge, but Latoya took him home anyway. And then police say she failed to give Curtis the seizure-prevention medication that doctors had provided. On January 24th, the day after leaving hospital, Curtis experienced more seizures. Latoya allegedly did not administer his medication as the seizures were happening. On January 25th, Curtis seized again. Again, police say his medication was not given. On January 25th, 2025, Southfield police received a call about an unresponsive child at the French Quarter Apartments. Officers responded and found Curtis Washington unresponsive. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. Curtis Washington, 4 years old, was pronounced dead. Medication that was never administered. Following Curtis's death, investigations launched a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding what happened. That investigation revealed the full picture: the initial hospitalization, the decision to leave against medical advice, the prescribed medication, and the alleged failure to administer it during the seizures that killed him. Prosecutors concluded that Curtis's death was caused by what they described as a grossly negligent failure to provide necessary medical care. More than a year after Curtis died, his mother was arrested. Latoya Washington, 37, was charged with 1 count of involuntary homicide in connection with her son's death. She was arraigned on Tuesday, June 23rd. Following her arraignment, she was released after posting a $20,000 personal bond. As a condition of her release, Latoya is required to wear a GPS tether monitoring device. It is not currently known whether she has entered a plea or retained legal counsel. Her next court appearance is scheduled for Thursday, July 2nd, for a probable cause conference before 46th District Court Judge Cynthia Arvant. Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron issued a statement in the wake of Latoya's arrest, and his words deserve to be heard in full. He said, "This case is a heartbreaking reminder that children, especially those with medical conditions, depend entirely on the adults responsible for their care." He added that parents and caregivers must take medical concerns seriously, follow treatment plans, and seek immediate medical attention when a child's condition worsens. And then he said something that cuts right to the heart of this tragedy. "A vulnerable child cannot advocate for themselves," he said, "and it is our collective responsibility to ensure their safety and well-being." Curtis could not advocate for himself. He needed his medication, and he needed the adults around him to make sure he got it. The investigation into Curtis's death remains ongoing. Latoya Washington is due back in court on July 2nd for a probable cause conference, a hearing that will help determine whether the case proceeds toward trial. The Southfield Police Department has not yet responded to media requests for further comment regarding the case. No additional details about the legal proceedings have been made public at this time. We will continue to monitor this case and bring you updates as they emerge. Curtis Washington was 4 years old. He survived his initial seizures. Doctors stabilized him. They gave his mother the medication to keep him safe. and he still didn't make it home. A child that small, that vulnerable, that entirely dependent on the person who was supposed to protect him most. We will continue to follow this case as it progresses through the courts. If you found this report informative, please subscribe so you don't miss our next update.